What's going on, Garage Pod? What's crack-a-malackin'? I know that on a previous video I had shown about a bike that I picked up off the side of the road. Not on the side of the road, it's at my mom's like trash pile, but it needed a new like a new chain. It needed a new axle in the back. I thought I had an axle that was long enough. I didn't, but I went ahead and found one in my bike pile in the back. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to replace that axle real quick. So first things first, this thing is really short, as you can see right here. Really short. So I'm just actually gonna undo this by hand. This side comes off pretty easy.
It just takes a minute.
All the bikes that I have currently they're all sealed bearings. These are actually not sealed bearings. So, gotta be really careful. And actually I wanna get a
Out here before I pull these out.
So, this is the new axle, and just show you what I did real quick. So, take this out real quick, and I kind of just usually, most of the time they just kind of fall out, or I'll use the other axle and pop that bearing out for a second. I am popping them out for a reason, because I want to repack them with grease. So, it's a different size of the axles. So it needed to be a little bit longer. I don't know what this was an axle off of, but just definitely wasn't working out.
So, take it off real quick, and I'll grab some, looks like some clean with the tootie.
So since I'm not going to use this axle again, I mean, I'll stick it in my thing. I'm just gonna put some vice grips on it real quick, just to hold it, just so I can get this piece off. And this is the bearing race that's connected to the bolt, and it's really important because it's what the bearing rides on.
I'll use that some other day or something. So,
yeah, this is what the bearing rides on. So as the bearing sits in there, this actually sits right like that, and it rides pretty smoothly. Not that way, rides this way. Okay, and this little rim keeps the grease from coming out. I'm gonna clean it up just a little tiny bit. It's a little bit gunky. I have some grease that I use for my kids' bikes that they race with. I'm not going to use that because it's it's not cheap. I'm just going to use regular old like bearing grease that you can get at any auto parts store. I think I've had 2 of these cans, and I think I've had them both for over like 15 years. One's more of a high temperature one that I use on cars. This one's a world-class lubricants, Uniplex high temp grease. I don't know, it works perfectly fine. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dab a little tiny bit of grease in here to get that going inside the hub. I had already cleaned this out, not super good, but good enough. And then I'm really not going to worry about greasing up these parts too much. I'm not going to worry about these. I'm going to worry about greasing up the bearings. So sometimes I would normally, if they're big bearings, I'd just dip them in the grease and get them all nice and goopy. But just shove that in the rim just like that. And then I'll put the other one in the other side. And the grease will kind of just work as a substance, and it'll just keep them in there. So put the bearing in the other side just like that. You can see right there. And now I'm going to take this other axle here, and I'm going to go ahead and start. Oops, that one went on the ground. I'm going to go ahead and start putting these on. This axle's a lot smoother, way smoother. And I really don't know where it's going to end up right now. So what I generally do is I get it in a good spot, you know, about 1 inch away from the end. I'll stick it in. Got it through the hole. It obviously it's going to need to come out some more. So I'll spin it. Spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it. So it's about pretty close to even. I feel like this axle is still going to be kind of long actually for the bike. It's a really long axle, and I cut some off. I have no idea what this came off of, but it's the only one I had that fits. So I actually have some pegs, some like off of like a cheap Tony Hawk bike. I'll actually probably just throw these on the axles for the kid, whoever wants to buy it. So get these going in there. That one's actually down all the way. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, definitely gonna have to cut this side. I'll probably just cut this side too, but it'll work. I'll cut this after the fact, but I want to get it just a little bit snug, and then I'm gonna put on this retainer nut, and I'm gonna snug this nut up as well, right up, kind of next to it. And you can play around. You can get these. They have these little skinny wrenches to let you adjust them. I usually just loosen it up a little tiny bit on the nut on the inside, the bearing race, and then tighten this one up. And you can kind of play with it back and forth. So right there, that seems to be good. I do have the other nut, the other retainer nut. It's actually out in the back shed, but I'll put that one on there, and then I'll put these nuts on.
That one on.
And pretty much good to go, you know. Spins perfectly fine. Now, the perfectionist in me feels a little tiny bit of like maybe a grain or a sand in there, but it's just old bearings. That's all it is. So I'll get that other nut and I'll get this put on the bike, and I'll pop that chain on, and I'll put it on Marketplace and hopefully make a kid happy. Hey, if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe. Thanks for coming along with me on this journey. See you around.